So what is rejection? No, I mean, like, really, what the hell is rejection and why does it feel like that? By Google definition, it is being refused acceptance, acknowledgement, or use by a person, group, or system, often leading to feelings of exclusion, inadequacy, or pain. For me personally, throughout my entire life, rejection has just been a deciding factor. Whether it be the determination of my value or my worth, rejection in all of her glory has put me in a perpetual state of attempted perfection since I was a child, which is kind of ridiculous, but whatever. Which as a result has just kept me stuck in motivation jail with little to no action as follow-up. It has affected my creative pursuits, my friendship making skills, my dating life, my familial relationships, and most heavily, my relationship with myself. But as I've transitioned from the last few months of being 23 years old to a full year of being 24 and now a few weeks into being 25, the last year and some change of my life, I've documented my feelings on the matter as it relates to many, and I mean many, of the blockages and obstacles that I've created through my subconscious as a result of being fearful and in avoidance of rejection. Because God forbid I feel any human emotions at all. I mean, who really wants that? This video isn't necessarily a self-help video though. This is more of a mirror and a hug for anyone that needs it. And for me, it's an accountability video. I have been stuck in a vicious creative cycle for years. And this 15-month-long self-made documentary, if you will, has provided me with so much ammo that all I can do is start. Yes, we know Rome wasn't built in a day, but it definitely had to start somewhere. And if I don't start somewhere, I might collapse. So I'm not here to tell you any super secrets or give you any tips on being you, but this is really just a moment of reflection. If you can relate, excellent. If you don't, excellent. Most of the time, the answers that you need are really within you. Sometimes someone just has to remind you of that. Hi guys.
Hello. What the fudge is up, y'all? Hello, hi, hello.
What up? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I don't know, whenever you're watching this.
Welcome. My name is Dina Yoba. Welcome to my little corner of the internet. Welcome to the inner workings of my cranium, chopped and screwed, edited, placed for your viewing pleasure. Here's the 411, embracing rejection. I have spent a year, yes, an entire calendar 365. I've been in the wild, aka my mind. Decided to fully allow myself to be a person, make mistakes, to be flawed. I've allowed myself to live without raging self-judgment coming from the pits of my own self-inflicted hell.
The art of this video and the art of this topic is being reminded that there's only one you. So
the stories you tell yourself are the stories that you experience. Fun fact about the brain cannot actually distinguish between real and imagined rejection. All the rejection I've been worried about are things I've rejected about myself. It's me deeply judging myself, things that I'm insecure about, that I'm worried about being exposed because God forbid someone sees parts of me that I don't like. And God forbid they also don't like those things. I don't want to live a life where no one tells me no. And I'm gonna tell you why. Mainly because I kind of need fires lit under my ass to make me figure out why I even wanted things in the first place. You gonna tell me no? Well, let me figure out again why I even wanted a yes. And maybe I don't need a yes from you. Maybe I need a yes from somebody else or 3 people removed from you. You know, like life is a freaking training camp. And with all the convenience we have, sometimes we escape that reality. Try to evade the things that we need because it's like, why would I want to put myself through that? Why would I want to put myself through any level of discomfort? But we need it. We literally need it in order to be humans and decent human beings at that. The social climate, the political climate of the world, everything is off the chain right now. Derogatory, I say that. There's a lot that's out of our control. The least you could do is make sure that you are getting a tune-up emotionally, spiritually, physically, checking in with yourself and making sure that you're being a decent person because Lord knows. I think that this can be broken down into 3 phases though. You have embracing, avoiding, and the fear. Good old-fashioned fear of rejection. Fear of being seen, fear of being not wanted, the fear of existing. I've also simultaneously accumulated so much comfort in not being challenged to really rock with myself, rain or shine, snow or storm. Rain or shine, snow or storm. I have not triggered myself or allowed myself to be triggered enough to be like, no matter what, no matter who, I am still gonna think that I'm hot shit. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna question, oh, but what about this? At the end of the day, what about your mother? Like, I am exactly who I think I am, whether you believe that or not. I know it to be true. If you are questioning, go ahead and keep questioning. Keep questioning. And matter of fact, make it multiple choice.
As it relates to dating and friendships, especially if I'm dating someone older than me, which typically I am, or I have friends that are older than me, which typically I do, my insecurities have gotten the best of me. I'm in spaces where I feel like someone's cooler than me. And look, feelings are not facts. So when I express that I am having these feelings about these things, they're just feelings. They're emotions. Whether I want to place value on that is up to me or not, you know?
Personal favorite was avoiding rejection.
The biggest way that avoiding rejection has manifested for me is through my content creation.
I've had this channel since I was in 5th grade. I've been wanting to make videos forever, and then in high school I was like on and off with it and whatever, and all these different pockets, and nobody was really holding me accountable, and I wasn't holding myself accountable.
Then as social media became exactly what it is, I started to put this crazy pressure on myself. I was like, bro, I need to be the next this. I need to be like this person, person.
And I felt pressure from all angles, mainly because I was putting it on myself. Most of the time, the call is coming from inside the house. I don't want that for myself anymore. That's a ghetto reality.
And I personally do not view myself as someone that needs to follow the crowd, okay? I don't need to do what everybody else is doing, but I'm still human. And as I develop as a human, and I also know that I'm not exempt from experiencing any form of the human experience.
It's not like anybody was bullying me, telling me, girl, boo, throwing tomatoes or coconuts at my head like, you suck, loser. Nobody's had the audacity to do this to me, but I've done it to me, and I'm really good at it. So in documenting this, it made me come to terms with all the ways in which I've told myself I'm not enough before someone else even got the chance. See, imagine my surprise when I finally unlocked and realized that not everybody expects me to have it figured out.
With me getting so easily discouraged if I wasn't seeing these fast results, I would be getting like 30 views, 60 views. I'm like, damn, y'all do not rock with me. Let me think about it. Can you imagine 30 people in your bedroom? That's a lot of people. Reality is that this video might only get 30 views or 2 views. And you know what? At this point, I am finally where it's like, bro, it doesn't matter, because if I don't put it out, if I don't start, I'll never start. So this is me starting somewhere.
You know, I looked at consistency as everything needs to be full. If I'm consistent, that means I'm filling the glass every single day. I'm filling it. Sometimes you can only pour half a sip. Sometimes it could be half full. Sometimes you can only put a drop of water in that glass. But as long as you're making an active single effort every day, then anybody that doesn't want you, that doesn't get it, that's not a part of your algorithm, is just simply not a part of your algorithm.
Now I'm just like, I don't care, because what really are y'all gonna do? Who is really gonna clock me if I'm just living my life and doing what I want to do? People are always gonna say what they have to say. Regardless of anything, you should be comfortable in your embarrassment. Embrace the cringe. Embrace being weird. Embrace being a little bit embarrassing. Why not? Why not? What is gonna happen? Yeah, it's gonna feel weird, and you're probably gonna want to throw up. And you maybe have some dramatic reaction, you know, like, oh, I don't want this person to see me like this. I don't want to be seen like this. Oh, God. Live a little, babe. Live a little. I did a lot of random things last year. Even up to last week. I was like, that's all I'll say.
And I have struggled because I've honestly been a perfectionist, which is really annoying and super uninteresting and very like cliche. Boring. How about being someone that just tries, like being a tryist? Hi, hello, are we getting stuck here?
The mind is extremely powerful. That's a super easy concept I think people talk about all the time, especially just with all of the language going around these days around self-help and just like be a better version of yourself, look into your trauma, blah, 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 blah. And while it's all extremely true and extremely valid and extremely important, I also think that there is a little bit of a handicapped in being self-aware without taking action on those things that you're self-aware about. So I've always been someone that's been told, you know, I'm wise about my years, I'm really mature for my age, blah, 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 blah.
I have sort of put that maturity on a pedestal. I have sort of used it as currency, because if all these people around me think that I have it all figured out, do I really have to try that hard?
Depending on how you look at it, sometimes I unintentionally try to skip steps. It's almost like if the really smart kid is in a class and the class isn't challenging them, so they don't really try because they're like, well, I already get this concept. Why would I try harder if I don't really have to? And I'm in Greece with one of my best friends. Shout out to Sochi. I'm so blessed to have been here with her. But last night we were out. I had this top on, and I looked at the video she took of me and my back fat was just like hanging over it, right? I immediately in the middle of this party, mind you, we were at Alagamu because I think last night I was saying it's Alamagoo. We're at Alamagoo, and I'm in the middle of this party, like experiencing severe, I guess you could say body dysmorphia, but I know that that's like a real thing for people, so I don't want to misuse that word. But it felt very similar to that. Like I guess you could say the diet version of body dysmorphia. And I just was staring at that video and I immediately was like, I hate my body. I don't feel comfortable in my body. This is not to shit on myself. This is not to beg for help. This is not a cry for help. This is not, woe is me, I need everyone to come and validate my feelings. It's me being extremely conscious and aware and real with myself about how I'm feeling, and I'm actively navigating that. And as it relates to this topic in this video, I think it's important that if I'm going to be putting out content relating to embracing rejection, I need to embrace my own rejection that I have with myself. I want to say in the last, I don't even know, 6 months, I know that I've gained weight. Like I have, and my image of my body has fluctuated a ton, and when I gain weight, like it'll show up like on my arms, my back, like it just doesn't feel flattering to me. However, if I don't allow my friends to talk shit about themselves, why would I allow me to talk shit about myself? I'm not confused on what I look like. I appreciate what I look like. I appreciate this stage of womanhood as I'm transitioning into a butterfly. I'm about to go through my second puberty. I love that. I love the girls. I love how athletic I look. Like I love it. I love her. But I also know when I am not fully tapping into the pool of potential that lives within me, I'm not swimming around, I'm not truly maximizing my sexy. It's like consequences meet actions. Now, okay, so literally I know when I know that I could be doing better, and I'm not. And then I'm confused and I have the audacity to be like, oh my god, I do not like these results. Like, boo, you could have been handcrafting that ass, and instead you were not being consistent. Nothing wrong with gaining weight. There's nothing wrong with being any body type, unless you're like causing serious harm to yourself. That's never necessary. I'm just bored of telling myself these old stories, having those moments where I'm like questioning myself, or I'm not like fully being in my back. Like it's just like, it is so icky. Like I'm giving myself the ick. I have been giving myself the ick. Not anymore, actually. I watched myself do that for a long time, and I'm finally on the other side. It's not perfect. It's not like a symmetrical situation. It's very oddly shaped, but it's shaped. I don't agree with self-talk that is negative. I don't agree with being mean to yourself. I don't agree with that. I'm not about to play in nobody's face and act like I'm all hail the most positive girl ever. Dude, no, I'm 24 years old. I live in this world. It's 2025. I'm human, right? Like it is what it is. So that being said, we're just kind of navigating how my mood almost got fully altered at that party, and I didn't want to ruin the vibe for everybody, so I had to check myself. And one of the guys we were with was like, Dina, what's on your mind? And I was like, nothing. I just went back to dancing, and I told myself, look, if this is something that is going to bother you like this, you need to lock in and do something about it. Simple. Also need to find a way to be kind to this version of yourself, because if you do lock in and do something about it, and you do change your body, and you do body recomposition, and you work out, and you change these things that you don't like, you need to be able to look back at these pictures and these moments of yourself and not judge them. It's just so easy to be mean to the version of yourself that you were not very fond of. I think that showing up for yourself looks like holding yourself accountable. It looks like being kind to yourself, but being real with yourself. Knowing that if you're going to be a self-aware person, you need to be productive. You need to find ways to be self-aware without being self-deprecating. Navigating these things means that I can't look at myself in a state of lack. I think that that's just kind of the whole point. It's not just a lack about money. It's not a lack about finances. It's not a lack about people, friends, or whatever. Lack is, it can be applied to anything. Like, do you lack confidence? Do you like, what are these things? Also kind of gotten sucked up and wrapped in the matrix of work and being able to have something to show for yourself in your life. But I also know that creatively, I have a lot to offer, and I haven't been exercising that.
And this is me realizing we just need to collectively get over ourselves, okay? Not everybody is thinking about you, and most of the time people are not thinking about you as much as you're thinking about yourself. So get over it, put yourself out there, shed a little skin, roughen up a little bit, like just let it rock. If you do not give yourself a chance to get in the field and see what you're made of, someone doesn't like you. Oh my God, can you imagine? Someone doesn't like you. Eventually you get to a point where you don't want to hate yourself anymore. Insecurities get boring. Self-deprecation gets boring. Through my fear and avoiding of experiencing a specific kind of situation, I have really weakened my capacity. I've weakened my strength, weakened my gangster, and I haven't really been turning my swag on. When you deny yourself the ability to sharpen your sword, what do you think you're going to go to war with? You're always going to be met with something. Someone is always thinking something. Someone's always going to have an opinion about someone. Someone's always going to perceive you as something. The more that you make other people's opinions your business, the more your life will be fully consumed and fully running on other people's gas. And I have built up brass ovaries well enough to know that I can handle it. If I'm only getting 20 views for a year, you know what? at least I'm being consistent with something. At least I'm honoring something that little 12-year-old me wanted me to do. And if y'all bangs with it, you bangs with it. If you don't, you don't. At the end of the day, I don't lose any power.
To also piggyback off of what you said, I think that there's not enough conversation about audacity. There's generational trauma, but there's also genetic trauma. And so there's things that are passed down to people through their parents, their grandparents, their cousins, their aunts, their uncles, everything, and so forth and so on. So I feel fortunate enough to come from where I come from and have the parents that I have and have the father that I have and the relationship that I have with him, and to do the work that we do and to stand here before you and have the confidence that I have and the audacity that I have. And so with everything that we do moving forward, there's a greater purpose to be had when it comes to sense of self, and to carry out that sense of self and hold that audacity, and that no matter what, any space that you walk into, you do believe that you belong there. You do believe that you can have what you want. While circumstances do present a lot of challenges and they present a lot of restriction is also simply mindset. So what you do with what you have is totally up to you.
When I really boiled down, like, what does embracing rejection mean? It means to have an abundance mindset. You can't think that the world is constantly not gonna want you. Look at how you even view yourself. Do you want you? You can't force people to like you. You can't force feed yourself. Not every puzzle piece is going to fit in your puzzle, and that's okay. And you can't be around people that only want to microdose you. You have to be around people that want to fully understand you and choose to understand you, because all of this is a choice. Knowing yourself is going to take you so much farther in life. Knowing who you are and knowing that regardless if someone understands your algorithm, regardless if someone chooses to get it, regardless if someone chooses to want you or like you need to be able to rain or shine, snow or storm, like yourself and understand yourself. And okay, all right, boo, you using them lungs and them vocal cords. I got snot coming up my nose. It's gross. Oh my god, I'm so stuffed up. Am I about to sneeze? I think I am. So cute. Like, I can't. Dogs keep coming up to me because I have bone broth in my cup. Hi. It's the bone broth in my cup. Yeah. Sorry, none for you. Jesus Christ. Anyways,
thing I want to highlight is there is no grand resolve, okay? I do not have one singular solution on the matter. I think that I've just watched myself over the course of a year think about this intentionally, move through life monitoring how I embrace myself in situations. You know, Fashion Week just happened and I was at a Prada party and I was looking around, I was people watching, which is my favorite thing to do. I'm like real focused, I'm lasered in on the environment. And I did not have an ounce of imposter syndrome. Looking around like, hell yeah, I'm meant to be here. Like, I look fly, I feel good, I'm sexy, I'm hot, and I'm meant to be here. Why would I even question it? There were so many people I knew at that party, and it dawned on me that the way that I consume, the way that I have so focused on comfort, the way that I have been a consumer of people's content, consumer of other people's art, the way that I have consumed, I've had to really sift through the accumulation of the outside world in order to get to my inside world. Little story time for you guys. Picture this, it's 7th grade. I have a crush. This one time, I liked this boy named Kevin. Now, this was middle school. One might say, it's who cares? You were a child. But it's that exact thinking that gets people to end up being serial killers and kidnappers. Because it starts in youth, you feel me? It starts when you're younger. So pay attention to the things that maybe were your villain origin stories, because it's not always in adulthood, okay? Now, I currently am not allowed to have crushes on anyone because I don't feel normal when I do. For the sanity of myself and those around me, I do not have serious crushes on anybody. That being said, I liked this boy named Kevin, and I was friends with this girl named Vanessa, who apparently, allegedly, I guess, was Kevin's ex, but I didn't know that. She never told me. The whole time that we're friends, she knows I have a crush on him. I'm confiding in her. I'm telling her all my business. This is my girl. She would never do me like that. Oh, but she did. And when you think someone won't, they probably will. So anyways, she knew this information and told him low-key. I didn't know that she told him, but she went and told this man that I liked him. His demented ass decided to hang out with me after 3rd period before nutrition or lunch or whatever we had in middle school every day for like 3 weeks. And every day he would ask me, Dina, do you want to blink? Now, me being me, because I don't like to say hopeless romantic because I'm not hopeless, but I am a true romantic. Like, I am like very much like I rom-com down, okay? My whole life, if it could be, honestly, at this point, my whole life, the way that I've set it up, rom-com, everything. I'm thinking he's gonna ask me, do you wanna go out with me? Because he keeps queuing it up in this way where it's like, do you wanna, dramatic pause. Then he doesn't say anything significant after that. And it's just like, for weeks, he was like, do you wanna go to Taco Bell after school? Do you wanna have lunch together? Do you wanna build a birdhouse with me? Blah, blah, blah. So one day, this little heifer, decided to say, hey, do you want to go out with me? And I'm geeked, I'm gagged, I'm gassed. Hi, hello, yes. Of course I do. Are you crazy? Yes, I want to go out with you. And 2 seconds later, I shiz you not, bro. He literally looks at me, starts laughing. He was like, aha, you fell for it. Okay, that was insane. I don't want to be your boyfriend. Being the sweetie pie I am, I quite literally, I don't remember how I got over that. Poor 7th grade me, I don't know. But I say that to say that experience from then on really brought a sense of, am I enough? Like, I don't think that I'm enough. Now, I'm always gonna give my family, the environment that incubated me as a child into an adult, I'm gonna give it credit. It's not like I grew up with that being said to me in the home, but as a kid, I cared more about what my friends say. You know, it was like, my mom would always be like, you're so beautiful. My dad's like, you're so beautiful, you're this. I'm like, yeah, but the guy that I like doesn't like me, okay? I know that from then on, I would overthink. I would overthink every little thing. I would try to avoid ever experiencing a form of rejection. So I would do everything in my power to not get rejected. At that time, I'm 15, so I'm a little insecure. You know, I'm a little insecure. A major component here is I grew up in the Valley of California where colorism was everywhere. It was everything, okay? I was repeatedly told when I was younger, you're pretty for a dark skin, but I don't like dark skinned girls. They're always ghetto or they're always this. Like, boys literally telling me that. As a result of that, for a while, I would do literally everything in my power to not get rejected. I would be detached. I would pretend I don't care about things. I would just do everything I could, okay? And of course I got rejected, or a form of rejected, or whatever I thought it was a rejection at the time. Of course that happened time and time again, okay? I used to be really non-confrontational, but now it's like I'm calling it out, okay? You're not even getting the chance to play with me, all right? Uppercut, side, what? Mink. You crazy? Play with somebody else, because I'm not the one. We're the two, baby, okay? Those formative year experiences really do mold a person. So I know that I've experienced all different forms of rejection. I've rejected myself. I've been rejected by family. I've been rejected by friends. I've been rejected by lovers, hoes, foes. It doesn't matter. It's happened, right? One thing to note is, what is really rejection without value? How are you actually determining the value of the rejection? How is it actually truly affecting you if you don't realize the value you're placing on it? It took me a minute to get to that. And now that I've shifted my mind from that, I'm having so many abundant experiences. Let me tell y'all something. This has been one of the best years of my adulthood so far. One of the best. I've cried, I've laughed, I've cried again. I've traveled, I've brewed new friendships, I've poured into myself, I've made money, I've lost money. I have been in and I have been out, but I have experienced it all, and I have been doing it scared. I've been doing it happy. I've been doing it sad. I've been doing it tired. I've been doing it all because I have my free will. I have a roof over my head. I have access to my family. My parents are still alive. I have a phone. I have electricity. I have Wi-Fi. I'm pretty as hell. I'm beautiful. I like myself. I have gorgeous friends. I have beautiful, beautiful people in my life. I have all 10 fingers. I have all 10 toes. I have my sanity. My left and right side of my brain work. My arms. I have my legs. I have a healthy body. I have all my teeth. Okay, all my jibs are in my mouth. I have hair on my head. I have food in my fridge. I have money in my bank account. And yo, let me tell y'all something. I am a Capricorn, okay? If anybody was very much like, oh, but this could be better. I could be doing more. I could be this. I could be that. The loop that I have been in for mad long. I could be doing this. I could be doing that. Yeah, okay, you could be, and then you don't. And now what? 24, I'm going to be 25 in 3 months. And I am genuinely proud of where I am in this life. So people that aren't proud of where they are right now, that don't like themselves. And if you are one of those people, you don't like yourself, you don't like where you are right now, you don't think you're doing enough, you don't think you are enough, you don't feel like you can provide or contribute anything to the world, let me tell you something right now. I bet that there absolutely is something you can contribute to the world. As long as you're good with you, that's your contribution to the world. Because you have no idea how your confidence, your ability to believe in yourself could inspire someone just by being you, just by choosing to exist the way that you do. Think about when you go down the street and you see somebody with a really cool outfit on, or they look really beautiful, they're doing something really cool, and in the moment you're like, damn, I resonate with that. I feel like I could do that. I feel like I could be that. The way that the human existence is basically a trifecta, and the way that we continue to show up as we are is also how we build community. It's also how we inspire people. It's also how we can be a blessing to someone else. You never know if turning your swag on can make somebody else want to turn their swag on. Look, circumstances are circumstances. They're always going to be there. Again, what you choose to place value on is up to you. And the thing that I've learned in this year while I've truly worked on this video and recorded bits and pieces of myself, I'm in a completely different headspace. I do believe that I belong. I do believe that I deserve. I've been through a lot I've been through a lot, and I know that rejection can sometimes feel like you are being told that you are not enough. What you got going on? No, you can't get in the club. No. But rejection is not that. And as corny and as cliche as it sounds, it really is redirection. Why would you even want to be in a place or go somewhere where you are not valued? You're not seen in the light that you know you should be seen.
Be kind to yourself. It sounds so simple and like kind of cliche. Like, love yourself, be nice to yourself, blah, blah, blah. But it's real. You know, a lot of things are easier said than done. Grass is greener on the other side. No, it's absolutely not. The grass is greener where you sit your ass down and you water it. Literally. Also in being vulnerable with myself. What are the parts of myself that I've been hiding? And you know, last year of my life being 23 and really observing myself and experiencing myself through my own lens for once in my life and not trying to experience myself through the judgment or presumed judgment of others, really giving me deeper insight on just kind of like navigating being a human. January 6, 2025 to my birthday. Today is dedicated to not judging myself harshly and unproductively, and to just really melt and accept this version of myself. I'm also my period, so I'm definitely prone to crying like multiple times today.
My birthday. It's actually my birth week. It's currently my birth week. It's January 8th, 2026. I turned 25 on Tuesday, the 6th. And what did I learn? What the heck did I learn about embracing rejection in this entire year in a few months? Well, one of the first things that I learned was that it's really just a mastery of self. You need to be able to know yourself so well, and I mean so well. Know the ugly, the nasty, the terrible things about yourself. Feel your own jealousy, feel your anger, feel the things about yourself that you need to tweak and work on. Feel it, know it, get to know it. Because as long as you know everything that there is to know about you, no one can really knock you off your axis. No one can really change your mind about you. Perspective will take you far. I think that's something we all kind of loosely understand. Remain in a state of perspective, expand your perspective, so forth, so on. But think about first no you ever received from someone. One job you really wanted. Think about that one person you really wanted to be with and end up with or date. Think about that one friend you wanted to make that you ended up losing. Think about all the things that you've wanted that ultimately showed you later they weren't for you. But two, think about how bad it felt in that moment when you didn't get what you wanted. And also think about this. Sometimes your no is someone else's yes. And I saw that in a video a friend of mine posted. She was referring to just some modeling gig that she wanted and she didn't get. And her friends told her, sometimes your no is someone else's yes. And how cool is that? You think about it in reverse. Sometimes someone else's no is your yes. And sometimes things are going to show you parts of yourself that you're not interested in knowing, but it's necessary that you see it through. And I love what this last year taught me about myself, about my level of discipline that I need to tap into, my level of consistency that I already have, but could be better. I saw so much about myself over this year, and I realized I didn't want to hide. And I don't think I was necessarily hiding before, but think about the current state of the human experience is that we have a lot to escape from. We have a lot of access to escape rooms, you know, if you will. So much access to so many things that we could be addicted to, so many things that can distract us, so many things provide so much convenience that we don't even try. I mean, think about the simple fact that the kids nowadays don't actually want to write essays. The less that we rely on the tools that we already have within ourselves, the more that we rely on other things to show us who we are. I do think that the level of convenience that we have has sort of warped everyone's reality, because there is a sense of, for example, Amazon 2-day Prime shipping. If I can get this in 2 days, why would I wait for this? There is so much skipping of steps that I feel like we do nowadays, and even down to just like, what's the first thing you do when you wake up? Do you go on your phone? Or do you look out the window and stare at the sky? Do you stare at the ceiling? Do you take a moment to connect with yourself? Probably not. And it's not about having the perfect routine or being the perfect person. It's not about having this super heavily curated version of yourself to keep up to, but it's just about the maintenance of it all. I don't desire to be perfect all the time. That's really boring and honestly is super exhausting. But I do desire to maintain a certain level of grace with myself and a certain level of understanding with myself, to where if I don't get what I want in the moment, I'm really sturdy in that. I'm 10 toes down, literally, because I'm like, oh, all right, that just wasn't my time. And it's never to negate the real feelings that come with being rejected, whether it's being rejected from yourself, rejected from a person, being rejected from a job, ever it is. That's not to negate the real feelings that come with that, but it's to reimagine the ways in which you go about it. Every day is a new day where you get to wake up and be the person you are, or be the person you want to be, or be the person that you hate. It's totally up to you. But one thing I've known, one thing sure, and 8 things for certain, it all starts with a choice. And so what choices are you going to make? I've been at this channel forever, as I've talked about in different ways in this video, but I think the main reason I even made this video was just because I realized that I was relying on other people's feedback to be the driving force of how I knew myself. The more intentional you get about hearing yourself, seeing things through, the easier a lot of this really gets. And it's not about a life that is so perfect and easy all the time. I don't think that's necessarily realistic. I think it's more just about what can you do to uphold a certain level of balance. And it's gonna look different every day. Even what I realized for me, consistency, as I said, is it's not you putting in 1,000% effort every day, but it's like, what are you doing little by little? Right now I'm on a walk. If I walk around park, walk home, and walk here, I get up to 20,000 steps. And can I do that every single day? Maybe, probably. Will I right now? I don't know. But what I am gonna do is make the effort in this current moment. And being rejected in any way is just another way for you to learn something new about yourself. Another way for you to learn the capacity for something or someone. And I feel like I've experienced so much in the last 7 years of me fully living in New York that I'm like, bro, keep it coming, whatever, whatever. As long as I'm still choosing life every day, I'm gonna choose to be able to get through these things. And so
don't live for your parents, don't live for your friends, don't live for anybody else but you. I remember in high school when I was about to decide to finally take a gap year, which ended up being 3 gap years before I microdosed and attempted college that I eventually parted ways with. But I remember being so scared to disappoint my parents. For a long time, my whole existence was like, let me be the perfect daughter. Let me not disappoint anyone. Let me not disappoint my friends or my family or my parents. It was so heavy on my spirit. I was like, blood clot. I am deep frying myself with other people's assumed opinions, because it's not like anyone told me this. Those things where it was like, I need the approval of these significant characters in the game, and if I don't get them, am I gonna die like Tinkerbell if I don't get this attention? No, girl, you're not. But it does feel that way, and it's crazy because when I say feelings are not facts, that's what I mean. Just because something feels like it's going to rip you apart and that you're going to lose everything you care about if you do this one thing, if you choose you once, that's not true. Feeling's not a fact. It's a feeling. It should be honored and it should be acknowledged, but it's not the main fact of the situation. If you remain in pursuit of understanding yourself, the answers will come. I have spent a lot of my life masking. I've spent a lot of my life in my head. I've spent a lot of my life overthinking, a lot of my life worried, and not an anxious worried, just like a, am I enough? Am I doing enough? I'm not doing enough, And truthfully speaking, I have a lot of privilege in my life. I'm never going to knock that. I'm a very blessed individual, but I'm not exempt from heartbreak and pain and grief and adversity and quite plainly, just everything that comes with being a person in the world. Okay, and in America at that. But I've had different tools to navigate these things that have put me at certain advantages or disadvantages. And just like they say, what you do with them lemons and how you make that lemonade is totally up to you, shorty. So I've made lemonade and limeade and a frozen lemonade and a lemonade margarita. Done it all that I can do. I'm going to continue to. Documenting this for a year gave me a lot of insight into a few things about myself, and the first key thing is my capacity for vulnerability. I always thought myself to be emotionally intelligent. For the most part, I definitely am. I was equipped with the tools from a very young age. Shout out to my parents. But the first time I really experienced a heartbreak that is greater than a romantic heartbreak is not speaking to my siblings anymore. And they're not here to defend themselves, and I'm not really here to put all my business out there. But in the sake of vulnerability, I'll give you guys an appetizer. I have an older sister, an older brother, and a younger brother. Now, my older brother, God bless him, I don't talk about this a lot, but it's important to bring awareness to, so I will bring it up here. He is somewhere in the streets. He chose homelessness a while ago due to mental health issues and addiction and all the things. And earlier this year, I was able to film a short film, sort of in honor of him, where I played an addict, and that's a whole other thing we'll talk about in another video. But that was one of my first heartbreaks, watching my brother essentially lose his mind and losing access to that sibling. And then my other 2 siblings that I have on my dad's side, we just don't talk anymore, and our lives haven't aligned for some years. And again, they're not here to defend themselves, so I'll leave it at that. But me and my sister, we were very close at one point, like very close. Remember when we stopped speaking, it took a toll on me because it made me question my self-worth. Like, what could I have done better to want her for her to want me again? What could I have done differently? What was I lacking at that time? And ultimately, her decision had everything to do with what she needed at that time. And not everything's about me, but it felt like that for a very long time. And I've had to navigate weird sense of fear and rejection in friendships. Like, okay, one day my homie's gonna wake up one day and be like, I don't want to talk to Dean anymore. I've sort of been very micromanagey in the sense where I am monitoring my every move and being anxious about my every move. Like, okay, am I doing enough in these friendships and these dynamics to keep these people around me? And one day, a few years ago, I got really bored with that. I got really tired of that. It was exhausting. But when I say that I have rejected myself preemptively in assumption that other people are going to do it anyway, so I might as well do it to beat them to the punch, that's what I mean by rejecting myself. So documenting this video for an entire year has done way more for me than I thought it would. I've always loved YouTube. I've always loved content creation. For a very long time, I was so stressed about how I was going to show up. I have access to a lot of really cool different people in my life that do photography and do modeling and are influencers and are actresses and actors. Some are famous, some are not, whatever. I have different cool friends in different pockets of every industry, and sometimes I look around like I'm not here by accident, so I might as well use it, right? My parents are in the industry. Okay, I'm not talking about them right now, but it's about me, but they are. And I've had access and lots of resources, different things, and I think in the fear that I was not enough to uphold it, even though I was born into it and have naturally accumulated that within my friendships and in these dynamics, I've always had this underlying insecurity that like, but what do I have to offer? What do I have to offer? Like, I don't have anything to offer to these people, to the world, whatever. It only takes one experience send you into a spiral and probably send you into a turtle shell of wanting to protect yourself for the rest of time. So avoid rejection. You avoid the ways in which you might not be received from the world because you're like, why would anybody want me? What do y'all, what if I put myself out there, you know what? Let me tell y'all something. My goal is not to be famous. My goal is not to be an influencer. Please. My goal is to document my life, show up as I am, and create community. And whether y'all get it or not, it's up to you. It's up to the GP. Really tired of sort of pigeonholing my creativity, which this is one of my creative mediums. This is what I like. I like to talk, okay? I've spoken on 4 panels this year, and next year I plan on getting paid to speak. So, for some reason I've always been called back to this, and so I know I got something to say, and I know somebody's gonna listen. And I'm curious to see the ways in which I grow as a result of this. Be excited about what you have going at all times, and if you have moments where you're not, that's okay. You're a human being. Make sure the bounce back is the bounce back. Make sure your reasons for not liking yourself aren't fueled by your presumed judgment you're expecting from others or assuming other people are going to have from you. Even if someone has said some dumb shit to you and has said that you're not enough for them, don't believe them. Nobody is going to spend a day in your body. Nobody is going to spend a day in your exact existence. So how could anybody else's words have more power than your own? And that is something that you hone over time. I've been there and I've done that. But it got to a point for me where I was like, I can't keep living like this, because if I make it over the age of 28 acting like this, I'm gonna get into my 30s with this same thought process and these same insecurities. Boring. No thank you. So in a world where we have so much access to everybody else's lives and there's so much consumption and there's a way for you to compare yourself to the next person and the next person and just assume the world may not want you, or assume that you don't have everything it takes to be this or that, choose better and do better. There's no guidebook. You take the inspiration you have and the motivation you have and you put action behind it, or you don't. You put motion behind it, or you don't. It's all up to you. It's all relative. Last clip I'm inserting on all my thoughts on this. I'm grateful that I had this idea and that I took a year to document. I'm sure 4, 3, 2, 1, 8, 10 years from now, I will have a different opinion on the matter, but this is how I feel right now. And so I leave you guys with, I hope, a little bit of inspiration to know yourself more, like yourself more, and be into yourself more, and a little bit of wisdom and all that maturity I felt like I had as a kid, which I did, has sort of morphed into a rebellious internal immaturity, which I hide and keep to myself. I don't share it with the general public. But all of that has made me learn how to reconfigure and sort of restructure and Rubik's Cube my own understanding of myself. And I know that that's going to be ongoing. I love to honor every version of myself if I can. So I will. And here I am doing that. And as I say this to my laptop camera and I get ready to go out for my last night in Mykonos, I say this knowing that I have to take my own words seriously. And so I'm choosing to document my life and my growth and my journey and my 20s on social media and create community within that, because at the end of the day, that's what we need, and that's the human condition. Like, we starve for community. That's all I have to say. If you watched this video all the way through, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching this all the way through. Thank you for watching my thought process. And I hope that you have a wonderful day, night, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you in my next one. I won't see you, you'll see me. But you know what I mean.